keeping seniors connected through COVID-19. Hi, everybody. Karen Roby here with Stephanie Condon for ZDNet, talking about our seniors today and efforts to keep them connected. You know, feelings of isolation and loneliness are certainly creeping in, Stephanie, for a lot of people, but especially those that may be separated from family and aren't able to see them and talk to them on a regular basis. You put a great article here together. I know you talked with a nonprofit senior living organization there in California is doing some really neat things to make sure those seniors are staying connected. Start first with some of the steps that they're taking just to protect the residents in general.
Sure, Karen. So I spoke with Eschaton. It's, like you said, a nonprofit senior living provider. They have about 30 communities across Northern California. And unfortunately, they have been directly impacted by the virus. As of early April, they had a couple confirmed cases among residents and a couple among staff. All in all, not horrible, given they have nearly 500 residents under their care, but still, obviously, very concerning for them and all the loved ones involved, and the communities doing, obviously following all the appropriate government advised protocol for protecting residents and staff members. They're also going above and beyond with little steps like, making candy deliveries to each door of each resident to kind of bring some more cheer into their lives. But of course, the steps they're taking really do kind of create those feelings of isolation that we're talking about. There are no more group activities in their senior living homes. All their meals have to be served in their rooms, so they can no longer eat with fellow residents. They're maintaining a 6-foot distance between each other and with staff whenever they can, so that's difficult. They're encouraging residents to not leave the facility, and there are no visitors. These are people who may already be reliant on a community of family and friends and loved ones to help them through this period of their lives to a greater degree than most of us. And now they don't have that support network. So it's creating a lot of difficulty, a lot of tough emotions. But fortunately, it sounds like, a lot of the technologies that we rely on in our day-to-day lives are also really helpful for these residents.
Yeah, and that was what I was going to ask you about is, where a lot of us are using Zoom and we have been, but, a lot of people that have never been part of a teleconference before or whatever are now starting to use these different platforms to stay connected. What about video conferencing for the seniors, even if they are, technology isn't their thing or they have a difficult time with it? Are they finding that useful?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It hasn't been super popular in the past. Eschaton has been using a platform provided by a company called K4 Connect. And so they have the K4 community platform, which provides a platform of various tools and applications, including third-party apps like messaging services and teleconferencing that residents can use to stay connected to their community and to their family members. And, some tools are more popular than others. When they first started rolling out the tablets to residents to try and get them to use some tools like video conferencing, Eschaton said that initially, before this crisis started, maybe only about half the residents really were interested in using these tools. But they shared some data with me since in over a 30-day period since the pandemic really started becoming an issue here. They saw usage of communication tools on the tablets increase by a factor of 3, and family members outside of the communities have been increasingly using the app to keep track of their family members and keep track of what's happening at the community. So that's seen a double-digit increase in use. So these tools are becoming really more popular. Also through K4 Connect, they're deploying Alexa through their communities, and that's been surprisingly helpful.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would think, voice assistant is, I would think, playing a big role, for them. I know it is for a lot of us, but especially for the seniors. Are they seeing that?
Yeah, it's interesting because, like I said, there's been a huge uptick in tablet oriented tools like video conferencing, but Alexa has actually pretty much always been popular since it's been deployed in these communities. And this crisis has provided kind of some interesting insight into, why that is. And they were talking about, the eschaton leaders were talking about how talking is obviously really natural and we all know how to do it, while learning to use a tablet requires a little bit of guidance for people who may not be as familiar with those tools. And if you don't have continued engagement when using a tablet, some users who may be less interested in it kind of give up. If they don't have engagement coming back at them from either community staffers helping them, or from their family members sending them photos, for instance, they may put their tablet down for a couple days and then just like forget their password or forget how to turn on the app they like, and then they just kind of forget about it. Alexa, on the other hand, because of the integrated intelligence, while you're learning how to use Alexa, she's learning how to understand you. And that interfacing becomes easier. You're both kind of learning together, and that makes it a much more natural tool for seniors and others who may feel less natural using technology. It makes it much easier for them to pick up.
Great. And is there, besides the video conferencing and Alexa and the other systems, anything else that they're using to stay in touch with their loved ones right now?
Well, Eschaton actually has a program that I thought was pretty interesting because it's kind of on the other side of the spectrum. We have some high-tech tools like Alexa that are being deployed, but they also have a calling program that they've set up. It's actually been around for 24 years, but they're in the process of upgrading it now with some modern call center tools. And it's been really a valuable resource for a lot of seniors who may not be living in residencies like Eschaton provides, but maybe living on their own, but need some kind of connection with their community. And so Eschaton organizes volunteers like students from the community to make regular phone calls to seniors, just to check up on them, say hi, make sure they're feeling good. And so they're in the process of checking out different vendors like Five9, for instance, who can provide tools to deploy these calls more easily, log them when they're made, keep a better database of who's receiving calls, who hasn't picked up in a few days and may need some extra check-ins. So they've been greatly expanding this program because of the crisis, and it's also helping to keep their residents connected.
Excellent. Well, I guess the silver lining is that, there's a time to go through that. At least now we have, during this crisis, we do have technology available in so many different ways that, that residents in some of these facilities can stay connected at a time when, again, it is hard to fight those feelings of isolation when they can't see their family and they're used to talking to people and eating lunch and dinner together in their cafeterias and things like that. So, all right, well, really interesting article here, and we appreciate your insight on it, Stephanie. And I know you've got this up, and much more, of course, can be found on ZDNet, and we hope you guys will check it out. Thanks for watching.